Hey, I'm Shannon Manjan, and we are going to break down what is happening in the Austin real estate market now that we are halfway through 2025. So we're going to look at what's been happening month over month this year. How does 2025 compare to last year in 2024? And also, I'm going to tell you some incredible deals that my clients have been getting, what this current market means for you as a buyer or seller, and finally, what do we think is going to happen in the second half of the year? So let's start with the latest stats from the Austin Board of Realtors. So in May of 2025, the median sales price in Travis County was $525,000, which is about 5% down from May of 2024. The number of closed homes was also down about 3% from last year. New listings are up 6% and active listings are up 16% from 2024. And I would say that's been the biggest difference between this year and last year is that we've had way more listings. It doesn't mean that there's not buyers out there because buyer pending sales are also high. If you look at this, the number of pending sales rose nearly 16% in May of 2025 versus 2024. So buyers were definitely out there, but sellers have been listing homes faster than people have been buying them. We've just had an abundance of inventory. There's also tons of new construction that a lot of time are not even included in these stats because a lot of the new construction never goes online. There's also empty lots to pick from. So buyers are grabbing things, but they just have so many choices right now. As a result, homes are taking a little bit longer to sell, especially for the springtime. This should be a hot time of year, but it's just taking a little bit longer. It's about 49 days on average in May of 2025 versus last year. And then also homes are selling for below asking, or about 94.8%. So roughly 5% off the list price. And keep in mind that a lot of these list prices are already being reduced because sellers are still pricing like it's back during the pandemic in 2021. And they're quickly having to learn, okay, that's not working. I got to reduce. And then buyers are still coming in and trying to negotiate a little bit. Okay, so what does this mean if you are buying or selling? If you are buying right now in Austin, this market is a complete gift for you. You finally can breathe a little. You have lots of options. You can be a little bit pickier. You can negotiate and really get a house that you want. Now, I heard some buyers object and say, well, I'm going to wait because I heard that the market's crashing. All right, there's all kinds of headline news. Some of it may apply to other cities. It may not apply here. There's also always been doom and gloom stuff all over the news about the Austin market. So let me show you, let's zoom out and look at another graph. This is going to look at 2024 versus 2025 and just show you some differences here. So 2024, we had a typical seasonal cycle. I always say that the market looks the same every year. Prices go up in the spring, they dip in the fall, winter. With school starting, holidays, people don't shop as much in the fall. So we usually have prices come down. Now this year, because we had so many extra listings out there, so much inventory, our prices really didn't take off like they normally would. It's been somewhat of a disappointment for some sellers who were expecting that spring market. It's just been slower, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We just went up in March. We were actually doing better than 2024. And then we kind of hit the peak in March and came down a little bit. There is definitely some influence about the fear in the news with, the tariffs. What is that going to do? The uncertainty in the Middle East, it has caused a little bit of, uncertainty in the markets and things like that. So that could have played some kind of role in it, but people are still buying homes. This is not a crash and burn where, our prices are just sinking like a stone. They're still kind of stabilizing. And if you look out from 2022 to where we are now, you can tell that our prices came way down in 2022. So that's when our prices fell. I wouldn't even call it a crash. It was more like a correction because we shot up through the roof so dramatically fast in 2021 and 2022, faster than we ever should have, that when we had that correction in 2022, about midway through the summer, it actually was a relief because it put an end to that crazy growth. And since then, our market has really just been kind of flat and stable. This year might actually come down slightly, but not a big crash and burn. So when people say, I'm waiting for prices to fall, I usually will tell them that happened 3 years ago. And since then, just look at these numbers. We're just kind of staying the same. We've actually been in a pretty stable market. Now, if you're waiting for rates to drop, Again, you can get really low rates right now. We just helped 2 clients, and I'm still like, my mind is blown on how we did this, but we helped a client recently get a home with a 3.99% interest rate, which is kind of mind blowing. I haven't seen a rate that low, but it's because they shopped new construction, and new construction builders right now are trying so hard to compete for business. So they are throwing in closing costs. They're buying your rate down permanently, not a 2-1 buy down, but they're getting a fixed low rate. We helped another client in the same neighborhood. They got a 4.5% rate fixed for 30 years. So think about that. If you're like, oh, I want to wait because I want to wait for rates to drop. Well, so do you and probably a million other people. So what do you think will happen if rates drop? Everyone's going to start buying. We're going to get back into those bidding wars and prices are going to go up. But if you can take advantage of the fact that the market's really kind of slow this year and there are builders that are giving you these crazy incentives, that's how you can really score and win big in this market. Now, if you're selling, don't despair, because the homes are still selling. Our pending sales are still going strong, and there's tons of people still moving to Austin. Doesn't matter what the news says. I can tell you there are people getting jobs here. They are transferring. People are getting married, having babies. They are buying houses. It doesn't matter. People still need houses here in Austin. So if you are selling though, you're not going to get multiple offers with 20 buyers fighting for your house. Your house is one of 20 houses that a buyer may be looking at. So you're all about competing against the other homes in your neighborhood. You need to be the best price or the best looking house that anyone has ever seen. So that means having something look amazing. You are going to need to spend money on painting your house, getting fresh carpet, fixing up your landscaping, adding the mulch, cleaning everything. You cannot just say, oh, someone's gonna buy my house and not feel like you need to put any effort into it. If you want top dollar, you've got to earn it. And you got to do everything you can to draw people to your home so it stands out amongst the masses of homes that are out there. So what's going to happen in the second half of 2025? Now, these are just my personal predictions based on my experiences and what we're seeing kind of in the history of what's happening so far this year. I would expect that prices are going to continue to just stabilize, stay flat, and they will probably dip down like we normally see in the fall and winter months. I don't see the prices just crashing and burning because, like I said, we still have buyers coming here. We've been stable now for almost 3 years. We also are not going to see probably a big drop in interest rates this year. And that's why new construction is so amazing if you're willing to buy a new construction home, because you can get those crazy pandemic rates right now with different builders all around the city. But otherwise, based on what the Fed is saying and just looking at inflation and everything, I would not expect that rates are suddenly going to come way down into the 5s or the 4s or anything like that. I'd probably think they're just going to hover in the 6s for the rest of this year. We'll have to wait out and see. I wish I knew with certainty what was going to happen, but that's my prediction. I would expect just stability, kind of slow, steady, maybe a little bit of decline as we get into the winter months, which is what we normally expect. So I'm happy to help you crunch numbers, prep your home for sale, or shop around for neighborhoods that are going to hold their long-term value. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for regular market updates, neighborhood tours, and honest advice to help you make your move out in the Texas Hill Country. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.